Hi everyone, welcome to my second year of Vivas. So for sophomore year, I'm going to be doing Vivas about ancient history. So for Viva 1, the question is, what can we learn from Ötzi, the Iceman's remains? Although we don't know a lot about how the people in ancient times lived, a lot of information has been brought to light with the discovery of Ötzi the Iceman. Ötzi's body has revealed a lot about 1. The lifestyle, 2. the health, and 3. the diet of common people in the ancient world. So first off, Ötzi's remains reveal a lot about the daily life of the ancient people. Ötzi was found with clothing made from animal leather, and and also shoes made out of grass, among other things. He also was found with tools made out of wood and bronze, and weapons. He carried flint and pyrite for starting a fire. He also carried mushrooms called polypars. As Susan Pike says, quote, "The tinder polypores, as their name suggests, are used with flint and steel as fire starters," unquote. So apparently you can use genetic analysis on the animal clothing that they found on his body, and so it reveals what actual animals that what he was wearing. Not only that, but what the animals that people in this time period were raising. So, the sheep species that was used for Ötzi's loincloth is close to actually a modern domestic sheep in Europe, which means that animals began to be domesticated very early in Europe, or at least sheep did. And Ötzi's leggings, pants, things were made of domesticated goat leather, which the samples were actually very similar to a pair of pants found in Switzerland 6,500 years ago. And so this means that they were made of a common material and must have been a useful material used for specific qualities, this specific goat leather. Okay, secondly, Ötzi's remains and health conditions tell us about what the health of the average prehistoric person was like. Now, in all seriousness, Ötzi had a lot of health problems. He was short, which is not generally a health problem, but it's very common for starved populations to be shorter in stature. He had calcium built up in his veins because of his diet, which had too much fat. He had a stomach infection. Also, he's the oldest known carrier of Lyme disease. He was infested with whipworms, which are a very gross parasite, along with other parasites. But despite all this, the ancient people might have actually had natural health remedies. One of these is actually the fact that, Ötzi had 61 carbon tattoos made from ashes injected into his skin, and they were found all over his body. They were like pretty simple tattoos, didn't have any skulls or anything, but whatever. These tattoos, experts think, may have been some early kind of acupuncture. Maybe they were used as pain relief because Ötzi had a lot of pain. He had also back and knee problems, probably because of the amount of work he was doing was a lot. Albert Zink says, quote, "Ötzi's chest tattoos may have been used to soothe belly discomfort. He had intestinal parasites and an H. pylori infection," unquote. Okay, my third point is The Ötzi's last few meals, which are found in his stomach, when they cut open his stomach, they can tell what kind of food they have. So they can show us what the ancient people might have been eating. So shortly before his death, Ötzi had several meals. First, he had smoked camois, which is wild goats. He had dried sloles, which were plums of some sort. May have had them wrapped in ferns. Later, he had venison, stinging nettles, and einkorn flatbread, which is made from einkorn wheat, which was basically an ancient form of wheat that they ate. And Ötzi also died with over a pound of meat in his stomach, which shows that the ancient Europeans, that their diet was very meat-centered, which is crazy. That's a lot of meat. Ötzi also ate several mushrooms before he died. He may have used these for medicinal purposes, as was touched on earlier. He may have had natural medicine. So mushrooms, in fact, have been used for medicine for thousands of years. The Greek doctor Hippocrates used mushrooms for anti-inflammatory purposes around a little later, probably a lot later, around 450 BC. Paul Stamets says that centuries before Hippocrates, quote, Ötzi, quote, carried a madu and a birch polypore tethered in a pouch to help him survive in the Alps of northern Italy, unquote. In conclusion, although no written texts exist from prehistoric Europe, Ötzi's remains give us an idea of how humans might have lived. Ötzi's remains give us an idea of, first, the lifestyle, secondly, the health, and lastly, the diet of prehistoric Europeans. Thank you.